Welcome back to the second Daytona Duel for the first round of the Season 3 of the NR2003 NASCAR Twitter Manager Championship. In the first race of the day, we saw Christopher Bell take victory and will line up P3 on the grid. But what about the grid for the second duel? It is Brad Keselowski who will lead them away from the pole position. He qualified second and will start there for the race tomorrow. Alongside him in the Williams car is Riley Herbst. It's another affiliate for Richard Childress Racing, and they are looking strong at the moment. He will start today's race in second. William Byron starts today's race in third for Penske on his return to the series, and in fourth place in the beautiful Duel livery is rookie Chandler Smith, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle Busch starts today's race in fifth on the grid, alongside the high-class racing by Penske car of Raphael Lessard, another rookie on the outside. Penske have another car, Benjamin Wallace, starting P7. With Eric Jones, Championship 4 contender last year, starting 8th. Ninth place on the grid is Chase Elliott in the number 9 Hendrick car, and 10th place is Austin Cindric in his number 48 Ally Chevrolet. 11th on the grid we have Aric Almirola driving the Stuart Haas car. Alongside him is Austin Dillon for Premium Motorsport. Then we get some Roushes. We've got Christian Lundgaard in 60 car, starting 13th place on the grid, and in the Castrol livery in 14th is Felix Rosenqvist. 15th place we've got Trevor Baynes starting alongside the Wood Brothers car of Matt Benedetto. Denny Hamlin starts 17th place alongside Darrell Wallace Jr. for Wood Brothers. Logan Sargent starts 19th for Go Fast, and Timmy Hill is 20th for Junior Motorsports. James Hinchcliffe starts 21st for Front Row Motorsport, alongside Landon Castle in for Starcom Racing. Scott McLaughlin makes a return to the series. He'll start in 23rd place alongside Chase Briscoe in the number 44 Tide entry. In 25th place, we have the US Air Force car of Tyler Petty, who will be joining the series this season, alongside Noah Morrison in the Rick Ware Hendrick co-owned car. In 27th, we've got John Hunter Nemechek in the Amoco Levi family racing machine. The number 39 starts in 28th of Ryan Preece for MDM, and the Advent Health car for Spire Motorsport, Connor Daly, starts on the back of the grid. 29 drivers in this one, 19 will advance to the 500. The remaining 10 will join the 11 from the last race in the last chance qualifier, which has some big names already, including Kevin Harvick for Richard Petty Motorsports. So here we go. We're ready for racing for the second time today. Who will make the 500? Green flag flies, and it's a very even start between Herbst and Keselowski, with Byron looking to pull away from Chandler Smith on the second row. Will he get the run down to turn 1 on the 2 RCR stablemates? Not quite. It's going to be Keselowski just ahead of Riley Herbst. He's pretty alone on the outside. Chandler Smith is not close enough to push them along. So it's going to be Keselowski ahead of William Byron. Looks like Chase Elliott thinking about a move on the inside of Benjamin Wallace. 99 Penske car looking further back at the field. All of them are sort of together at the moment. You've got to keep with the pack if you want to make the lock your spot in the race. Losing the draft is a huge disaster. So lap 1 complete. Keselowski has pulled away a little bit. He's got Byron in second. Challenging him below is the 18 car. It's Kyle Busch, Benjamin Wallace in 4th place, with Chase Elliott and Riley Herbst fighting out for 5th place. The outside lane struggling in this race compared to the previous duel. It doesn't look like Riley Herbst has the support to keep that lane pushing along. Kyle Busch is going to the inside of William Byron, and Chase Elliott is down the inside of Benjamin Wallace. We've got Aric Almirola Christian Lundgaard there in a good position on the inside. He's 5th on the inside. Keselowski leads another lap. Chase Elliott will be taking 3rd place from William Byron, but he's got Eric Almirola there in 4th in the 14 car. Lundgaard in 5th. He was pretty decent on a super speedway last year in his first year of stock car racing, impressing many on them. Had a bit of a tough season overall as Chase Elliott goes to the inside of Kyle Busch. So it looks like the top 4 have got a bit of a gap. They've just got that sort of pace advantage over Lundgaard. He's got Trevor Bayne in the 17 car pushing him along. And then you've got the 47 of Denny Hamlin. Up top, you've got the Penske's of Byron and Wallace working together with Herbst, 3rd in line. But no one is getting past the RCR of Brad Keselowski at the moment. Busch has dropped back into line in 4th place. And you've got the Roush's sort of holding it up. It looks like these top 4 are able just to get on with it. But it does look like Lundgaard's got a good run off too. But it's Kyle Busch to the inside of Eric Almirola. Looks like Trevor Bayne has cleared Byron as well. Byron trying to get to the bottom now. He just sneaks in front of the Dodge JTD Doherty racing car of Denny Hamlin. Lundgaard's up into P4 at the moment. There's a go fast in the background of Logan Sargent, who's looking very impressive. Kyle Busch has got a lot of speed off turn 4. And into the tri-oval, he's trying to make the move on Elliott, but there is no space on the inside there. Keselowski has led 5 laps so far. He's ahead of Elliott, Busch, Lundgaard, Bayne, Byron there. And then we've got Hamlin, we've got Sargent, we've got Jones. Can Almirola get to the bottom line just before Dillon does? I think he's going to do it. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch up front is now looking at Chase Elliott as Byron goes underneath Trevor Bayne for position. Further back, it looks like Ryan Preece has lost out and he's been dropped by the pack, which puts him pretty much out of contention already 5 laps into the race. Rosenqvist struggling in the Castrol 16 car at the moment, but up front, get this working. It's all looking very feisty. We've got the Roush cars moving, well, apart from Rosenqvist, the Roush cars are moving very nicely through the order at the moment. It's Lundgaard in P3. He's behind Kyle Busch in the Joe Gibbs car and Keselowski in the Childress car. Byron looks to the inside though. He used to drive for Roush Racing, had a very difficult season a couple of years back with them. Couldn't quite get the Roush car working. But right now, the Roushes just seem to have enough top end to make it work. Though saying that, Bayne, who looked like he was going to make the move back to the bottom, has been passed by the go-faster Logan Sargent. But Lundgaard, it's certain to lose a position to William Byron there. But managed to get back to the bottom. So that Roush has got a bit of grunt to it. Not enough, it seems, to pass the Gibbs car in front of it, as that's been pulled on by the RCR. But it's looking pretty handy at the moment. So is Logan Sargent there in 5th position. Looking a bit further back, crossing the line 9th at the line. Let's move up to 8th. Now looking for 7th is Riley Herbst in that Williams entry. You've got Chandler Smith from the DeWalt number 20 there. Looking good as Byron this time is going to make the move down the inside of Christian Lundgaard. Eric Almirola and Riley Herbst, I expect, is going to follow through as Austin Dillon cuts down in front of Chandler Smith. Busch is still in the slipstream of Keselowski. This would still put him on the front row of the grid, well, the second row of the grid, as Keselowski is already locked into the front row, so there is no need to fight at the moment. But there is a very fast Penske behind them of William Byron. Lundgaard's dropped quite a bit far back to where Bayne is in the field. A few other names to point out at the moment. We've got Tyler Petty in the 43. He's driving very competently. We've got James Hinchcliffe up there. Timmy Hill for Junior Motorsport. Maybe a bit more of a left field signing that one after having Tyler Reddick pilot that car last year. But he's driving very well at the moment. Eric Jones there is passing the 27 of Austin Dillon, who should be able to cut down to the inside before Logan Sargent gets there. Meanwhile, we've got a huge pack here as Riley Herbst is making the move on Byron, which is interesting to see. And Chandler Smith in the Gibbs car's going to follow through. Byron's going to fall back into 5th place. He's back on the inside. Now Riley Herbst, let's watch him down this straight. He should have the horsepower to make the move on Kyle Busch, and then he should have the horses to make the move on Brad Keselowski. Smith goes up top, looking to help teammate Busch. I don't think that's going to work well. Busch could probably make it back to the bottom of the track, but Byron's coming fast on the bottom. But Busch is going to fall into the slipstream of Herbs and come down to the bottom. He retains third place. Good bit of team push in there from Chandler Smith. He is stuck on the outside, so he's going to lose out. But he should be able to slot in behind Eric Jones and in front of Logan Sargent for position here. Let's just see if he can do it. He doesn't. So very well driven. Now, Keselowski has led 9 laps so far today. Can Riley Herbst and the Williams change that? Or is he just going to sit there and push him along? He's going for the move. Down the inside comes Riley Herbst as William Byron follows through on Kyle Busch. And we have a new leader for the first time in this race, Riley Herbst. Down the back straightaway, William Byron is going to look to make a move to the inside. He's got a great run on that corner. And Riley Herbst's lead is going to be very short-lived here. It's Byron to the lead. Meanwhile, Cindric is pulled off in the background. I don't know what has quite happened there with Austin Cindric. Oh, the engine's gone. And this is a huge problem for Cindric. Austin Cindric isn't going to lock his place in the Daytona 500. He's going to have to go through the LCQ. Meanwhile, Jonathan Nemechek and Connor Daly ones are losing out. But Daly, I think, might just get back into the slipstream because these people have lost a lot of speed on the straight. But Nemechek is gone. And has there been contact to cause that problem? Or was it just an engine going out on Austin Cindric? Let's just have a look back quickly. We've seen, yeah, it was in the slipstream of Rosenfist. And then the engine just went in front. And that split back up a little bit. It slowed up Benjamin Wallace in the 99 car. So Cindric is back in the lane as Eric Jones now leads in Chandler Smith in the 20 car. But that's another big thing that's going to have to go through the LCQ. If you remember from the last race, we saw a pit lane incident with Daniel Suarez for Stuart Haas and Cole Custer for Joe Gibbs, and that put them way down the order. So Jones leads. He's ahead of Chandler Smith, Byron in third, Logan Sargent for Go Fast, doing an incredible job in fourth at the moment. Down the inside, Byron and Chandler Smith. Meanwhile, we then have two sort of lanes forming. We've got the RCR stablemates on the outside. Don't think they're going to quite have the speeds, but saying that, as Byron goes to the inside of Jones now. Oh, something's happened in the background. It's Keselowski. And that's caused more problems in this pack. Or is this everyone going to get through this all right? Just about. It's a huge pack that's been held up because Keselowski's engine's gone. This is inconsequential because Keselowski isn't. Well, he's on the front row, so he's under no pressure, but that's a bit of a worry for RCR. As Byron continues to lead, the pack has really shrunk. It's shrunk up to an 8-car pack because of these mechanical problems splitting up the field. And it means down the top 18 are going to make the race. There's some big names in this pack at the moment. We've got Lassard in the high-class Penske. We've got Almirola, Lundgaard. Busch isn't particularly in a lot of running position at the moment. So the pack is split up. Byron leads for Eric Jones. Go Fast are in a great position to make the race without the LCQ of Logan Sargent, as he's alongside Charles Smith, who's got a great run from that corner and is keeping it well on the outside. We then have the Roush of Bain, the Williams of Herbs, Rosenfist Roush, got Tyler Petty, Richards Petty racing car, had a bit of a mind blank there, and Austin Dillon, who wasn't too bad on that last lap. He's got a bit of speed still in that car. Then we've got the pack, we've got Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Hamlin, Wallace, Hinchcliffe, and then we've got these three pushing along there, Almirola, Lundgaard, and Wallace, who are currently in the top 18. And then we've got Morrison, we've got Lassard, there's Chase Briscoe, he's battling with Carson, Benedetto, we've got McLaughlin, Timmy Hill, we've got Connor Daly who's dropping back, and Nemechek and Priest. Skislowski's in the pits. Meanwhile, up front, Eric Jones is taking the lead, but he's about to be passed by Chandler Smith. It's going to be a very interesting race to watch, especially with the pit stops, which does separate the pack out a bit. Meanwhile, fantastic driving from the 27 Austin Dillon, who didn't lose this pack. He's actually driven right up back to them, which I'm quite surprised about without too much of a draft. So that is great news for him. Looks like Busch is trying to pull away from this pack here. Wallace does lack a bit of straight line speed. We've got Hamlin, Hinchcliffe. But these guys have got me concerned by this lovely big pack that's pulling up towards them. I don't think Connor's going to make it, but yeah, this is going to become one big pack. 45 sixes. So the top 9 are pushing right at the moment. We've got Riley Herbst up front at the moment. In the Williams car. He's going to have an RCR that's going to challenge him. He has by far the most engine power in this race at the moment. Chandler Smith and Eric Jones, I think they've got enough to make moves, but not to sustain the lead. The go fast here with Logan Sargent doesn't quite have the speed. Rosenqvist won a couple of the Super Speedway, he won a couple of the plate races at the back end of last season for Penske. Quite surprised that he ended up at Roush rather than maintaining his seat in the 12 car. But he's looking to prove a point, and he's running very well at the moment. Tyler Petty in the 43 is in a good position to make the race, which teammates Kevin Harvick wasn't able to do, and currently Chase Briscoe is under pressure of doing. He is in this big pack here, which sees Timmy Hill starting to drop off a bit. It's lost Daly and it's lost Nemechek and it's lost Priest. So those are people that are probably going to lose laps. It's been headed up by Kyle Busch. He's not under pressure of losing this at the moment, but go back up front. It's fairly status quo at the moment. It's still Riley Herbst up front. Chandler Smith in second, so it's 2 rookies. And I think these two can push on. Chandler isn't under too much pressure of being passed from behind. The go fast number 32 of Logan Sargent doesn't seem to have the straight line speed to be able to make the move on these leaders. I think we'll come under more pressure from the 43 car. Tyler Petty is about to come under pressure from the 27 Dillon. But meanwhile, Chandler Smith is going down the inside of Riley Herbst. So the Gibbs cars are able to race. There was a few plate races at the back end of last year where the RCR cars looked very difficult to pass without traffic. But it looks like the engine race is a lot closer so far, and Chandler Smith takes the lead. You've got the go fast of Logan Sargent looking. He's just about holding on. But you've got Herbst up top that's running fairly well. He's not going to get the speed for a while too, so I think he is going to drop back. So Sargent into second as that's Ryan Priest running near the back in 27th place. And here comes Dillon. He's going down the inside of Logan Sargent. Rosenqvist and Byron. Well, Rosenqvist is staring at the back of his old car. He was running the 12 last year when he won races at Talladega and Daytona. So he would love to put one over on his old car. And he's got the support at Roush Racing today. Trevor Bayne managed to avoid the carnage, and he's in this pack. So these 9 are running very well. But I think there is some speed in this second pack led by Kyle Busch, which I think is where a lot of the important racing is going to happen today. De Benedetto is currently being pushed along by Darrell Wallace. They're both running for Wood Brothers this year. Danny Hamlin's Dodge is coming along here. He's getting a push from a Penske of Benjamin Wallace. Christian Lundgaard, he's coming underneath of his own car, old car, driven by Raphael Lassard. So yeah, this is an important race here. As meanwhile, Byron is going to the front. Now he's making the move on Chandler Smith. So I think there's 4 cars that I think are capable of winning this on pure pace alone. So that's Byron, Smith, Herbst, and Jones. Then you get the wild cards. Roush Racing have been pretty solid as they're coming up to Ryan Priest to lap him. So I wouldn't rule out either Bane or Rosenfist. But Austin Dillon there in the 27, we know how good he is on these bigger ovals. So he could be a threat, and we know Premium have come with a decent engine. They're pretty confident about it. As we're coming up to the back market, as Hubs is looking to move into second, it looks like Byron's going to choose the high line, or no contact there, just about, but it has held him up. I don't think Byron's going to be too pleased with a move there from Ryan Priest, who's holding this train up, and if that keeps going, we know that Busch is running lap times faster than the people at the back of this train. It looks like Herbst has found an opening, and he's going to take the lead, and he's going to follow, push through Ryan Priest out, and the go faster Logan Sargent's going to follow him. And we have the 24 car of Eric Jones, the 43 of Tyler Petty, 27 of Austin Dillon, and then we've got the 2 Roushes of Bane and Rosenfist, and then we've got Charles Smith and Austin Dillon. Just a look back, we've seen a few people drop off. Chase Elliott isn't in a good position at the moment. He's 24. There is pressure on Elliott today to make it into this race now. We've already seen one Hendrick car explode, so that's Cindric going to be in the LCQ, but is Elliott going to be under pressure? It's Noah Morrison, he's in a Hendrick supported team. We've got Lundgaard, we've got the Benedetto, Landon Castle, we've got Darrell Wallace Jr., and we sort of get this back here. We've got Lassalle, McLaughlin, Chase Briscoe. Timmy Hill has managed to drive his way. I thought Timmy Hill was in danger of being dropped, but he is in 15th at the moment and currently locked into the race. Still Kyle Busch leads in this, and he's running decent lap times, 45.5s. Chris just did a 46s behind him, so if Busch can keep pushing it on, this would be great news for this pack here, getting back into the lead group. The problem is there is a Penske behind him. That's Benjamin Wallace in the 99 car. Does Benjamin Wallace have the speed to make a move, or does he know he's got to stick with him? Well, I think that answers the question. Wallace is going for it. Looks a bit fractures in this shot, this pack. I think Castle and Morrison are both still in decent slipstreaming positions. So Wallace makes that move. He's done 45.564, which is faster than Sargent in 9, but not as quick as some of these leaders. As it's Riley Herbst still leading the way from Eric Jones. He's going to be in a good position for 500 at the moment. He's going to be joining Alex Bowman near the front, who had a very good run in the last race. Premium Motorsport, I've got one car in the LCQ with Justin Haley. They didn't quite get the strategy right, but at the moment, with the issues other people have come ahead so far, Austin Dillon is in a good position. Charles Smith in the 20, he's been looking very solid. He's been up front most of the day so far. Trevor Bain, he's decent at these super speed wins. Watch out for him. We've got Byron, Tyler Petty. I think this is his first experience on a super speedway. Be interesting to see what he can put in. He's running the top pack. Meanwhile, as a bit of a point, we're coming up now to John Hunter Nemechek of the Vine family racing, who's going to come to the bottom. Herbst is going to look to the outside, but he doesn't quite want to give the inside line up. He'd rather make that move on him. Now, watching this front group, they're not quite up to Ryan Priest yet. It's changed a bit. Now Busch has lost the lead. These guys are fighting more. It's Lassard to the front. But, yep, Herbst there has made the move. We're going to go 3 wide, nearly 4 wide. As Byron passing Smith and Nemechek on the inside. Will Nemechek be able to hold on to this a bit better? Be interested to see that. So Byron has the speed today to beat Herbst. He's in his first full-time season. He did a race last year in the number 43 for Richard Petty. But now he's looking in a Roush support of equipment to impress this year. As him and Byron kind of pulled away a little bit here. Smith and Rosenquist have been caught up high, so Tyler Petty is pushing into third place with Austin Dillon in the 27, who I think is a dark horse for this one. Aerodynamically, the premium car doesn't compete with the others, but still good on its engine power. You can just get runs from the corner, you should be able to cause a surprise. Meanwhile, we're going to go back into the peloton, so to speak, and we're going to see Chase Elliott coming up to Ryan Preece. He goes low. Elliott's taken a different approach and he's going right around the outside. He's got the momentum. He's been pushed along for the last few laps. But now Preece is getting pushed along as well. But I think Elliott is going to maze that work. We've got McLaughlin and Hinchcliffe for front row on the inside. Front row are looking decent at the moment. They've got Menard in the last race finishing 17. So this is looking decent for them at the moment. Meanwhile, Checkers fell to the back of the pack. It's still Riley Herbst leading William Byron. And we've got the premium of Austin Dillon running in third place. We are starting to come towards the pit window, which saw some drama last time when Cole Custer and Daniel Suarez collided. Will we see a repeat of that today for any of the big boys? Meanwhile, Colin Daly here is being caught up. These guys that are in the LCQ, this is for a position that puts them on the outside. Meanwhile, Herbst is now following a similar move made by Elliott on Preece, and he's made that work, but Dillon isn't giving up. He's going to the inside. So well handled from Dillon there, not getting caught by Daly, as Nemechek doesn't seem to be able to quite hold on to this. But yeah, Herbst has pulled a bit of the gap. He's going to lose that. He doesn't have any support. And Dillon has got quite a few miles an hour on it. I'm thinking back straight away, if Dillon can just keep the momentum going through here, could we see a potential move on the cards for the 27 car? I think it could happen, but we'll watch here. Off the corner, I think Herbst has got enough in the tank. I think Dillon caught up maybe a little too soon. I think he's going to slit the slipstream down now. Meanwhile, Trevor Baines to the bottom, Tyler Petty, and Eric Jones is making the move on Rosenquist, and also Tyler Petty, who's got a very bad run on the outside. I was going to let Chandler Smith in the 20 through. And Rosenquist is also now, he was dropping back anyway, is going to come through on Tyler Petty as Jones goes through. Bang, it's Rosenquist. Has Rosenquist got a problem? He's all of a sudden slowed up. It's not pit road, so another mechanical problem for a leading driver today. Oh, this is dramatic. Rosenquist won the night race at Daytona to put himself in the playoffs after looking pretty doomed after just not having the luck at the road courses. But now the luck's turned against him. He's stopped on the track. And meanwhile, all of this has caused a few more problems because Byron's dropped a bit off the pack. He's dropped a long way off. So him and Logan Sargent have dropped off the pack. I think this is a 6-car race for the leaders. Jones dives down the inside of Riley Herbst, followed by Chandler Smith. So coming into this pit window, it looks like the number of cars who are in contention to win this is dropping. We've got 5 definites in the front pack, and I think Tyler Petty will get his way back into it. But man, that's Rosenquist's issues have really hurt Byron's hopes of a decent starting spot. Of course, it's not important here at Daytona, but it's still good to have as Sargent pits, Petty pits, and that was also Trevor Bain coming in. Meanwhile, the other group is still pushing on. They've been a bit cut off. They've had a few people in the pit lane. We've got the 2 Wood brothers who have aligned that perfectly. We've got Wallace in the 7 and 21 there. Meanwhile, we've got more pit lane trouble. That's Noah Morrison, who's just been a bit shunted by Landon Castle. none like the issues we saw in the last race. Meanwhile, up front, it's a 5-car train. Well, it's 4-car train at the moment. It looks like they're all coming into the pit lane together. So Jones, Herbst, Chandler Smith, and Austin Dillon. Byron's going to carry on his own. He's got a bit of support from Levine and John Hunter Nemechek behind him, but not loads. It's going to come up some people. Meanwhile, Bain comes out. Petty comes out with Sargent. Noah Morrison's come out in a decent position. Chase Elliott also stayed out, interestingly. Curious to see how that works. Now these leaders in pit lane. Who's going to come out first? Looks like it's Eric Jones. He comes out. It looks like Herbst. He's got himself a bit of a gap. So Jones out there. Dillon, Herbst, Smith. And yeah, well, I would say Trevor Bain is in a decent position. He's got a good run here. Meanwhile, you've got Tyler Petty being pushed along quite nicely with Colin Daly. I think Herbst and Smith are going to join back up with Dillon, as meanwhile Tyler Petty getting a huge run. He's going to have to ease it up. Meanwhile, is there enough momentum on the outside for Trevor Bain? Not really. It's not worked to that decision. Meanwhile, Logan Sargent has dropped back. And now it leads this question. Has Byron's gambit paid off? He's gone in when the pit lane's quiet. He's not going to get the lead off Jones, but can he get back with that pack that he was working with before Rosenqvist's problems? Jones has got a huge lead. He's just got up to speed a lot faster than everyone else. Byron, I don't think, is going to do it, so I think Herbst, Smith, Petty, Dillon, and Bain are trying and get a decent result. Benjamin Wallace is there racing with Kyle Busch, down the road with Sargent in 12. Chase Elliott's come out of the pits. He'll be Wallace, De Benedetto, Lassard, McLaughlin. Noah Morrison in a decent position despite the issues. Lundgaard was in 18th, and it looks like Briscoe and Castle are going to have to go into their last chance qualifying with Hill, Hinchcliffe, Hamlin. Rosenqvist, meanwhile, is back on track just to get some miles under the belt, I assume. Daly's coming out the pit lane, meanwhile, and Eric Jones has been caught. So Herbst down the inside, along with Charles Smith. I don't think he's going to have the momentum to get to the bottom. Really? Yes, he does. He just cuts in there in front of Tyler Petty. So here we go, 6 fighting for the win. We've got the 5 of Riley Herbst, the 20 of Chandler Smith, the 24 of Eric Jones, the 43 of Tyler Petty, the 17 of Bain, and the 27 of Austin Dillon. I don't think Byron's got the speed to be able to compete today. So he's going to drop into the pack. Almirola, who's in 8th. 9th is Kyle Busch, Sargent in 10th, Benjamin Wilson in 11th. Lassard, Elliott, McLaughlin, De Benedetto, Morrison, Wallace, and Lundgaard. I think it's safe. I think those are the 18. I don't think Briscoe and Castle got enough people and they're fast enough to make the race. So no, Morrison, well done you. That was a big success today for Go Fast and Hendrick. Go Fast and Rick Ware Hendrick. Anyway, back up front. Herbst has dropped back, and it's Chandler Smith leading the race as we approach 10 laps to go. Next time by. Meanwhile, Austin Dillon's gone underneath the 43 of Tyler Petty. And we're going to see the 17 have a look as well. But now it'll be interesting to see, what does Austin Dillon have? He doesn't have much help. He knows that the 5 car of Riley Herbst is going to have a speed advantage over him. So he just needs... It'd be a very difficult ask to take the win, especially when Smith and Jones look pretty comfortable. Herbst, meanwhile, is really got the speed. He's going to go down inside of the premium motorsport car there. And now he's going to begin working in the 24 and the 20. Meanwhile, Tyler Petty in the 43 and the 17 of Trevor Bayne don't seem to quite have the pace. Meanwhile, here comes Herbst. He's making another move. When that Williams car gets going, it's good. Down the inside of the 24. Dylan's going to follow through. I think Dylan needs some back market help if he's going to be able to take the win today. And there is Rosenfist coming up, who is 4 laps down, 27th place, going into the LCQ. We're going to see a big name not make the race. There's only 4 spots, 21 drivers going for it. And so far, we've got Austin Cindric, we've got Cole Custer, Rosenfist, and we've got, right now, it looks like there's Harvick in it. We've got Chase Briscoe. This big name's not going to make the race this time by. So now Morrison is working very well with this pack at the moment. De Benedetto and Elliott. Meanwhile, we've got maybe a bit more. Byron's got a bit more assistance now. 45 seconds isn't going to catch this lead group. They are a bit too far back to make any significant mark on it. Meanwhile, of course, Rosenfist this lead pack. So which way around they're going to go on him. Rosenfist probably has the pace to prove a bit of a spanner in the work, like Bell was at Daytona last season, where Bell was holding up the RCR cars, but I don't think that's going to happen here. It does look like Herbst has got through just fine. It's got a little bit of a gap as Tyler Petty looks to make the move. And then you've got Dylan, Jones, Smith, and Bayne. But yeah, Petty really lacks that straight line speed. It's a problem that Richard Petty Motorsport have known about coming into this weekend. It just shows that the Roush or Rosenfist was able to keep ahead. So that puts the pressure now in these sort of last 5-6 laps on Smith and Jones on getting through the field, getting up to Herbst and pushing them far enough back. Meanwhile, more battling here. Be interesting to see anyone drops off of this pack, because that could change the complexion of this race. We do have Colin Daly, he's running 26th at the moment. It's a good little battle here. Obviously a bit of a pointless battle because these are all going to be in the LCQ, but Ryan Prieston 39 racing with Nima Jack and Daly. So back up front, Rosenfist has lost out now to both Jones and Smith, and the 3 fastest cars in this pack have moved to the front. We're coming up to 5 to go. Charles Smith is going down low. And Eric Jones is going to make that move. And now he needs Rosenfist and Tyler Petty and Trevor Bayne and Austin Dillon to catch up with this pack. So it can make it a meaningful move on Charles Smith. But meanwhile, it's more of a battle behind them. So even if Charles Smith makes a move on Riley Herbst, Herbst can probably slot back into position. Looks like Jones has held off Rosenfist's interference. But it's a strange move from Rosenfist trying to help Trevor Bayne out. I know Bayne doesn't have much of a shot of winning this, but it doesn't particularly help. Meanwhile, Jones is going to make the move on Chandler Smith. Smith has spent way too much time trying, but doesn't quite get the run on the bottom. As these 3 push on, we've got 4 to go. This time by. Will Riley Herbst put it 4th on the grid for tomorrow's race? I think he's in a good position to do it at the moment. 4 to go. It does look like Jones is the better of him and Chandler Smith. So Eric Jones moves up into 2nd, and I think for Smith, that's going to really hurt. Can he get to 4th? Or is that his race over? I think Dylan's caught back up. Meanwhile, Tyler Petty has moved. I've dropped back from there. I just want to check if your top 18 is still the same. Here we go. 3 to go. Rosenfist is getting a run on Eric Jones. And that doesn't help this pack here. So I think that does help Chandler Smith a bit if he can just sort out the differences with Trevor Bayne. But I think this is going perfectly for Riley Herbst. The Williams car is looking rather unstoppable right now. Chandler Smith is looking to make the bottom. I think Austin Dillon is also going to get... He's got down on Eric Jones. I think Jones is out of contention. The next 2 laps have to be perfectly driven from Chandler Smith. He needs to get Rosenfist and Dillon on this lap. I think he's going to get Dillon right at the start of it, which is super important. He now needs to get into the slipstream of Rosenfist in the 16 car and get down low. He cannot faff around with it because Herbst has got a lot of horses in that car. So here we come to the bottom. There he goes. Chandler Smith is on the attack, looking to take the win away from Riley Herbst in his first time in the Cup car. There's a lot of pressure on him this season driving the number 20. Here we go. He's a little far back at the moment. Does give him a bit of slipstream to work with to draft up on Riley Herbst into turn 1. Can he make the move? Here we go, into 1. Chandler Smith is down low on Riley Herbst. Is he going to have enough overlap to make the move into 1? Yes, he is. And I think that's an important move. Does Austin Dillon have anything in that car? I think Herbst is going to drop back potentially down a 5th. Depends on how close Eric Jones is. Meanwhile, 196 down the straight. Dillon doesn't quite have that speed. Chandler Smith, I think, is good to take victory today. Here it comes, around the final 2 corners. And then it's just the trial gets complete. He has the gap over Austin Dillon. Chandler Smith is going to take victory at Daytona. From Dillon, Bayne, Herbst, and Jones. Petty across the line in 6th with Benjamin Wally, Carbush, Sargent, and Byron in 10th. Almirola, and Nez Lassard, McLaughlin, De Benedetto, Elliott, Lundgaard, Wallace, and Noah Morrison all make the race. Look at that. Smith wins it. He's got a couple attempts over Dillon there. It was a perfectly driven last few laps from Chandler Smith. Bayne takes 3rd place. Herbst will be disappointed with that. He looked very much in control for the most part. And we get Jones, Petty, Benjamin Wallace for Penske, a solid first outing with Carbush, Logan Sargent in the top 10, with William Byron in 10th, Almirola in 11th, Lassard in 12th, with McLaughlin, De Benedetto, Elliott, Lundgaard, Wallace, and Morrison. Hamlin 19 will be on the outside front row for the LCQ, and we have Timmy Hill, Chase Briscoe, James Hinchcliffe, Landon Castle dropped off that group. I think he was with Briscoe but couldn't keep up. And we have John Hunter Nemechek, Ryan Preece, Connor Daly. Then we had Rosenfist, Keselowski, but Keselowski's already on the front row, so this is a concern for him. And Austin Cindric. So we've got a very big LCQ coming up with some big names in it. Will any one of Cindric, Suarez, Custer, or Rosenfist not make the race? Tune in to the next race today to find out. This has been Andy Graham, and I'll see you next time.